Michelle Ang, the voice of Omega, sat down for an interview and let loose some very interesting things about the upcoming season 3 premiere. She shared about how she's matured in this character, how she's grown as a voice actor, but even more importantly, at the very end of this article, she lets loose on a very interesting thought and something that has made me even more excited than I already was for Bad Batch season 3. Let's get into the article. Here's what she says. From the beginning, Baker has been a mentor for Aang, whose previous work was focused on live action. I'm lucky to have all these wonderful characters to play off. I'm always in awe of Dee, but also I feel like we're so familiar with our characters now and the series that it feels like a more even playing field. We are collaborators and friends and artists. And we really had to learn that because season 3 has some really intense emotional stuff. Not to say that the other seasons weren't emotional, but I think this season in particular, being able to rely on his voice acting to bring out the truth was really important. I'm really interested to see how this all plays out, particularly in the scenes where we're going to see Omega and Crosshair together, and is reconciliation possible for his crew? We will have to wait and find out. Crosshair has been one of those characters that I think has had a very interesting story arc throughout the past 2 seasons, and I'm very interested to see how this emotional intenseness gets ramped up in this final season.
How touching.
And when we went into season 2, we were given the same kind of understanding that season 2 was going to be a little bit darker than season 1. And that makes sense as we're getting closer and closer to really this full establishment of the Empire and all of the things that are going to be happening as we go through that. I'm really interested to see how this emotion gets brought out in this series. That's one of the things that I've really appreciated about Bad Batch as a series as a whole, because it's found ways to make these characters connect with us in such a way that the emotion that we feel is real. And so when things happen to characters like Tech, it becomes even more impactful to us, the audience, and that's just good storytelling. Building up the emotion, building up these characters, and then doing things that cause us to be uncomfortable. But listen what she says further. The article continues, says, on screen, Omega will also be tapping into some newfound confidence. The stakes are so much higher, Aang says. But like some children she's encountered who face uncertainties in the world with an unwavering conviction beyond their years, Omega's belief never falters. Aang continues, it's the idea that youthful confidence despite the stakes that is interesting in terms of getting into Omega's headspace. She's gone through some tough things, but it hasn't ever been bleak. She still has all these really gung-ho ideas. That was really fun, but being in high-stakes situations and bringing through the confidence, perhaps a little bit of departure from the wonder and novelty of everything, which would have been Omega in the previous series. What does this evolution of Omega look like, as Aang is talking about? And then the article concludes with, I think, a really intriguing insight into the character of Omega, who for many folks have not been their favorite. But I think hearing stuff like this from Michelle Ang gives a new spin and a new understanding to what's going to happen in the series. Here's what she says. But perhaps most importantly, The Bad Batch is the story of a kid and her adoring father figures. If you look at the broader perspective, at the end of the day, The Bad Batch is about a young person who has been fortunate enough to have the right kind of guidance to believe in herself and in what she can contribute to the world. That's such a universal story. For Aang, it's less about why Omega came into the galaxy and more about who she can become in it. It's about growing up. It's the path that every young person goes through until they feel like they're ready to step out into the world. And Aang hints, here it is, that the story to come is even darker than the previous seasons. As the Empire holds the galaxy fully in its grip, what struck me when I watched the first couple of episodes of this season was that it felt tense. It's suspenseful. It's very edge of your seat and uncomfortable, with a little bit of departure, I would say, from how we mostly have started the other seasons. We sort of drop the audience straight into the tough stuff. That sounds intriguing to me. that we're going to get right into it, right into the edge of our seat, intense emotion of what's going to happen in the resolution of this final season. I can't wait. I don't know about you, but this has even made me just a little bit more excited to see what these first 3 episodes hold. If you're as excited as I am, hit that like button and follow for more Bad Batch content. I'm going to be releasing videos all around the episodes, my thoughts, my takes, what I liked and what I don't like about the episodes. And if that's something you're interested in, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell for notifications. Thanks for watching. Remember, the Force will be with you always.